Hi there, it's Mr. Smith, and in this video I'm going to go over the syllabus. So first of all, this is contemporary math, also called Math 1332. Notice it's linked with this other course. So this is what we call a CoRequisite course. It's 2 in 1. And mainly the difference is you have more assignments. You'll see some DMAT assignments when you're doing your homework. And then we may do a few other things, but there's not a big difference. When we meet on campus, it just means we have more time to work on things in class and to work on the computer. I'll let students do homework at times. But for an online course, you're not going to see a big difference. So contacting your instructor, normally I get back to you within 24 hours. In fact, usually I'm a lot quicker than that. However, if for some reason I do go more than a day, please don't hesitate to email me again. Normally I'm pretty good about not missing. What sometimes happens is I see an email and I don't really have time to respond to it in a good way, or spend enough time to reply. And so I'll forget about those sometimes, but otherwise, I'm usually pretty good. By the way, I am getting over a cold, so hopefully this will, hopefully I'll keep my voice for the whole video here. Let's look at contact information. Notice my name is Scott Smith, and I only have one T in Scott, and so I have been nicknamed 1T. So you can call me Mr. Smith or 1T. I don't mind if you call me Scott, but most people call me Mr. Smith or 1T. This is my email address, basically my name, Scott Smith at dallascollege.edu. You can reach me at this phone number, 972-677-8940. If you want to have a conversation, or I'm kind of old school, I prefer talking to people as opposed to texting back and forth. Most times when you contact me, you'll probably use my email, and that'll get to me right away. But if you want to have a conversation, call me at this number. I don't have an office location because this is an internet course. I am actually on Brookhaven J127. If you ever want to set up a time to come into my office, you're welcome to do that. Office hours for this course are by appointment. I used to do it 1 or 2 hours a week at a certain time, and it just was hard to find the time when I got people to be able to come. So it's easiest to just do it according to your own schedules. So contact me, we'll work out a time. Let's see, Information Central. If you need information, general information about the college, this is a good place to go. Let's talk about our course. Again, it's contemporary math. At 1332. This is our section. This is what distinguishes us from the other Math 1332 sections. It's 42415. Of course, this is spring 2024. And notice certification date is January 29th, which is a Monday. And we'll talk about that shortly. And then the last day to withdraw from this course, if for some reason you need to withdraw, is Friday, April 12th, which is basically the 12th week of classes. Or maybe it's after the 12th week, somewhere around there. But I do want to make a comment here. I hope that if you decide you want to withdraw, I hope you'll talk to me first. Sometimes students will get down after a bad test or something, and sometimes I can give you a little more perspective, and I can say, hey, you're going to be okay. You're not doing as bad as you think you are, and you're a good position to pass. But anyway, the other people you may want to talk to, if you're a veteran, Veterans Affairs, or your student success coach, certainly. Sometimes there may be a reason why you need to stick it out, even if you don't get the grade that you're looking for. And sometimes students just disappear. they give up, they come back a few semesters later and they find out that they're on probation, academic probation. So just make sure if you withdraw that you go about it the right way. Let's see, I think that's all I want to talk about on the first page. Here it talks about the course description for the course. You're welcome to read that on your own. Student learning outcomes for this course. And then we have these common Texas core objectives, things that we want to see all of our students improve in at the college. So you should look at those if you've never looked at those. I won't go over those though. Required course materials. So basically in this course we're going to use MyLab Math, which is an online program where you will be doing all your assignments except for the tests. And the other thing I want to say is that's part of your, when you pay for the course, your tuition, and so it's encouraged. You don't have to buy MyMathLab separately. It's what we call the Include Ed program. It includes those course materials. This is the actual book that's tied to those materials. You can opt out of the Include Ed program, but there's really no advantage to doing that, and it normally creates big problems for students during the semester, so highly discourage that. Our prices overall are hard to beat as far as tuition and your materials that are included with that. Let's see, so in this course we will use an interactive software called MyLab Math. I still call it MyLab or MyMathLab, that's what it used to be called, so you'll see me use both words or both names. So it's a textbook-based software where you will complete assignments. Students must have access to a computer with internet access to complete the required work for this course. To begin working in MyMathLab, go to the home page in eCampus, which is Brightspace. Click on the MyLab Math link and basically just follow the directions there. Now the only thing that you're going to need that's not included with the course is a good calculator that you're comfortable using. I'm going to be using a TI 30XS multi-view calculator, and the main thing is you can use other calculators, but the main thing is that you're comfortable using the calculator, and the big thing that you're going to want to be able to do is put in fractions, sometimes fractions within fractions. Notice the nice thing about this calculator is you can see everything. It's not like you put in numbers and your numbers disappear as you're going from step to step. Oops, I think I got a little carried away there. Anyway, you get the idea. So 2/3 plus 8 divided by 1/3. I hit the fraction button an extra time, but the nice thing is you can put in complex fraction expressions and see them in this calculator. And when we do the financial chapter, you'll want a nice calculator that can handle those formulas. You can use a graphing calculator, but again, you got to be comfortable putting in these kinds of expressions. All right, so graded work, notice 15% of your grade is homework, 10% is quizzes, and 75% is tests. Your letter grade is the traditional scale, 90 to 100 is an A, and so on. I do want to mention in the 0317 course, you cannot get a D. You either pass or you fail that part. And so it's important that you'll see in just a second that the math 0317 grade is determined by your homework. Whatever your homework grade is at the end of the course, that's going to be your grade for 0317. So it's important that you're passing the homework overall. it means you got to do homework, which I hope goes without saying. All right, so let's talk about graded work. So for homework will be assigned in MyLab Math to practice the material learned in each section of the book. The nice thing about My Math Lab is if you miss it, you're going to know, and you'll have access to feedback for any problem that you miss, or most of the problems. On the other hand, I always encourage students to make sure you're doing your work on paper in some kind of a notebook. Mainly, it helps in a few ways. Number one, writing things out, saying them, all these things contribute to this process of learning. I know for me, writing things out makes a big difference. And then the other thing is when you take a quiz, it's normally over like 3 or 4 homework sections. You can go back and look at your notes for your homework. The other thing I would say is in the homework, you might want to make a note of certain things, like maybe there's problems that you had questions on, or things that you don't want to forget, or that you maybe struggled with a little bit, and you want to review those things before you take your quiz, and then you're much more likely to be successful. You should try to take these quizzes as much as possible without looking at your notes, but go over your notes first and then take your quiz. That's what I recommend. Because if you're doing well on the quizzes and you're not having to look at anything to do that, then that tells you that you've learned the material, and at least for those sections, you'll be prepared for the test. All right, so again, the DMAT 0317 grade is based on your overall homework grade. My experience in this class is most students are in the 90s on the homework, and if you're in the 90s, you got a really great shot of passing this course. As long as you prepare enough for the test, you should be successful. It's not a guarantee, but it starts with the homework. So we talked about the quizzes. They are timed. You have 60 minutes, and all the quizzes, again, we said were 10%. You're going to have 5 tests. You'll notice there's no final in this course. The tests count for 75%. We talked about that. Notice tests may only be taken once. For students who average 80% or better on the homework, I will drop your lowest test score. Notice all students do have to take test 5 during finals week. But again, I will drop your lowest test score if you have 80% or better on the homework. Not to mention, that also means you'll get a B in 0317 or better. Tests will be administered online in MyLab Math using the Lockdown browser and Respondus monitor. So basically, this is the program that we use to hold students accountable for doing their own work. There'll be a camera on you as you're taking your test. A laptop or a desktop computer with a webcam is required. Alternatively, students may arrange to take each exam at one of the Dallas College academic testing centers. I will provide a detailed announcement in Brightspace before you take test 1. Again, Brightspace, eCampus, one and the same. Late homework policy. So for homework and quizzes that are done late, there's a 25% deduction. That still means you can pass with a 75%. And the other thing I want to note here is that this is up until you take your test. Once you've tested on the material, you can't go back and do homework assignments for that test. So make sure you're getting your homework done as we move through the course. As far as tests, please be sure to get them done by the deadline. If there's some really good reason why you didn't get it done, please contact me right away. And if possible, I will work with you to get that test taken. It's just really important that you're getting the test done on time. Instructor-student communication. So in an online course, this is extremely important. We've had many issues, other instructors and I, with being able to get a hold of students during the course especially when it came to grades. And so please make sure that you're using your email that's for school. It starts with an E and then it's got your number. And you want to make sure you're monitoring that. If you can, get it connected to your phone so that you're getting your emails as soon as they come to your phone. For example, well, it's just like I said, it's so important as you, in not just my class, but other classes, that you're getting the communications that are being sent out, especially when things change. So I don't know what else to say other than just make sure that you're taking care of that. Okay. And finally, I just want to, as I've said before, please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. Sometimes students call me or text me and they apologize for bothering me. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you be successful, and if you're having any questions, especially at the beginning of the class, I really want to make sure you understand what's expected, and if anything's not clear, let me know. Sometimes it may not be clear to other students too, and I can just confirm what you're asking. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Attendance participation. So to be certified as participating in this course, students must enroll in MyLab Math and complete the homework for sections 1.1 through 1.3 and quiz 1 by Sunday, January 28th, with an average score of 70%. Now I want you to understand this is a minimum requirement to be certified as attending. You're not coming to class, so that's not how you show your attendance. You're doing it by doing this assignment, these assignments. I do want to point out, again, this is the minimum requirement. Also note here that not being certified is likely to affect any financial aid. To be on schedule in the course, though, I do want to mention that you should be up to homework 5.6 by this date. The first test is on Chapter 1 and Chapter 5, and so really the certification date is at the end of the second week. And again, I would also add that even though you have to have a 70%, I would encourage you to shoot for that 80%. All right, if you haven't read the institutional policies, make sure you look at those. Those deal with a lot of the general things like dropping classes or repeating classes. And I think that's about all I want to say here. If I make any kind of adjustments, I'll let you know. The only other thing I want to look at is our calendar. So you can see for week 1, this is what you're supposed to do. And again, I noted this for certification. Notice week 2. You can also see most of your assignments are due on Sundays. This is what's due in week 2. Now each week I'll make an announcement about what's due that week, but keep in mind you've already got it on your schedule. Highly recommend you print out this course schedule and you have it as you're going through the semester week by week. So normally I'm just confirming what's on here, but there may be some changes. Normally I pretty much stick to what's on here, but if there are any changes, it'll be in those weekly announcements. and really a lot of times I'll have more than one announcement. There may be an announcement about the next test or other things that come up. There'll be an announcement about the discussion board. You're going to be posting an introduction there. So that's just another example. You can see your first test is due on Saturday the 2nd. So do watch, the tests aren't always due on a Sunday. There are other dates, but a lot of them are due on Sunday. So just make sure you know the schedule, and again, watch those announcements. I'll make sure it's real clear. All right, if you have any questions, anything's not clear, let me know. Otherwise, that's going to be it.